Boxing King Media in association with Box Raw. Delighted to have with me Johnny Nelson. Johnny, good to see you. Firstly, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I apologize. I was a little late for the show. I was doing a bit of cooking because I love doing that. That's what I do, baby. This is like rock and roll. That's me. Everybody thinks I'm a party animal. I'm a rock and roll man. I just stay inside,
Just
cut the grass.
before we talk about boxing, you're obviously on this program, aren't you? On this fitness program and diet, etc. How's that going? And
Yeah,
are you on target?
going well. On target, it's going well. Remember, I boxed at 13 stone 8. I blew up. I can't believe it. To 19 stone 3. I couldn't believe it. Now it's come down. I feel so much better for it. And it's just about mindsets and re-education of food. The idea initially was I fasted for Ramadan. And I'm so glad I did it. Just to know I mentally could do it. I now fast every Monday. Sorry, last week I did 3-day fast. And it's just a new relationship with food, discipline. And I'm not saying don't eat, I mean eat correctly. Eat when you're hungry, eat at the right time, train right. And at the age I'm at, I've just got to keep myself in good nick. And if it inspires others, so be it. But it's just remember that it's that 10-year plan. I got plans, baby. I got plans.
It's interesting you said that. So when you fasted, you said last week for 3 days. How do you feel the day after? Do you feel like you've got more energy? Do you feel like you got less energy? How does your body?
My energy levels were actually pretty good. My energy levels were. It was more that than anything else. I drank water. I could even drink black coffee if I wanted to. But my energy levels were good. It's more of a mental thing than anything else. And once you can get around the mental thing of like when you think, oh God, I'm hungry, I want something to eat, drink some water. And once you've done it, I'm telling you now, you'll feel so proud of yourself because it's a great achievement. Twice a year, I'm going to do a 7-day fast. And the nicest thing is, it's not for any reason, but just for my own mental clarity. It's not for religious reasons. It's not for anything else. And if you do it, and you don't have to do it, trust me, the benefits are ridiculous.
We wish you all the luck with that, Johnny. Johnny, just want to go back 5-6 days ago. We saw an absolute clinical performance from Terence Crawford beating Errol Spence Jr. Did you expect that from that kind of performance?
You know what? Anybody that says they knew that was going to happen, they're lying. Everybody was split down the middle. I did expect Crawford. I did pick Crawford to win, and then that was after some fine tuning of looking at each fight. And I said it before. I saw the only chink. The reason why I picked Crawford is because I saw Spence in a fight where he kind of switched off a little bit, and when he switched off a little bit, I just couldn't understand why. I thought, is he quitting him? And I can't remember the fight. It was Ogula. I can't remember the fight. And I thought, if you do that against Crawford in a fight, you're done. And that's the only reason why I went for Crawford, because I thought you can't afford to lax in concentration at such a high level. And then the way the fight went, Crawford, his timing was second to none. His reaction was second to none. His timing, his speed, his accuracy, everything outfoxed, outmoved, outmaneuvered. Spence was aggressive, and he boxed with heart. So again, blows my theory out of saying he's got quitting him, because Mama took a beating. And I think for Crawford, I think Crawford was calm, cool, composed, on point. His jab was stunning. His jab was ridiculous. His timing was ridiculous. He had two southpaws in there that showed class, and you won't believe Crawford was the one with only one belt.
There's a rematch clause. If you're training Errol Spence, if you're around Errol Spence, does he take that rematch against Terence?
Well, so yeah, I'm hearing a lot of things about Spence's condition and theories on why he boxed the way he boxed, thinking it was the after effects of his crash. And when you see them and you look at them, you think, I can actually see what he's talking about. And now I can actually see, because I couldn't understand how a man, 3 belt, 2, 3, that's only 3 belts, could get schooled in such a way. I couldn't understand why he was like being beaten to the punch with everything. So maybe there was some method to the madness. There was some understanding about the theories that are being said about why the after effects of the crash that are probably not being seen by the naked eye. The question when the referee stepped him and counted him and didn't show the torch in his eye, why did he do that? You know, after mid-fight. So it now makes me think, you know what, this guy's got a point in regards to what he pointed out. So when you're talking about a rematch, will there be a rematch? So unfortunately, you know, even Ali did it. Sometimes fighters think, they think, and the bigger picture think, I want the money and be a big money rematch. And that could happen. They could call that. But in reality, if the people around him love him, if the people around him take care of him, if the people around him respect him, if the people around him are kind, they'll say, no, don't do that. He catched a beating. He was in the fight kind of, but my man, Crawford, he catched a beating. Crawford, tenderized him. So I wouldn't do the rematch. I don't know what difference you could do. I don't know. I just saw things that I was very surprised he got beat the way he got beat. And so the theory afterwards for why I can kind of understand all the questions of why did he midway through a fight think, hey, what's going on here? You know, these things, I can remember a certain fighter, and I'm not naming his name because it's probably, I don't know if I have. And Brendan, I went into the gym and Brendan said, see right there, I saw him sparring with Howard Eastman years ago. And Brendan said, that's where the damage is done. It wasn't until two or three fights later, this guy, the effect of the boxing affected his career, almost his life. So I think with Spence, you know, it's easy for people to say, nah, you don't want to talk about them because you can't see the effects now. But in the years to come, you will see the effects. I've said it about numerous fighters. So my personal opinion, I wouldn't do the rematch from the evidence I've seen, the evidence that I've heard. That's my personal opinion. But what do I know?
Johnny, the next fight for Sky Sports Boxer is Liam Smith, Chris Eubank Jr., the rematch. Chris Eubank Jr. announced earlier this week that he will be bringing in, or has brought in, Bomac, who is the trainer of Terence Crawford, as his head coach of the team. Roy Jones confirmed that he was no longer working with Chris Eubank. They parted mutually, and Roy was just committed to other fighters at the time. A lot of criticism towards Chris Eubank Jr. online that I've seen, people saying he's changing trainers too often, and maybe he's just because Bomac won. Maybe if Bomac lost, would Chris have gone with him, etc. What have you made of that kind of whole scenario?
Well, I don't believe Eubank has all of a sudden decided to go with Bomac. I think he's probably been training with him for a while, and just made it public that he has been, that he's working with him. So that theory is probably, it just happens to be a coincidence that he's with him. It's like Anthony Joshua with Spencer's team. You know, how does that affect him? So I think this is a decision by Eubank that had been made long before the fight. In regards to chopping and changing trainers, he wants to learn new things. He thinks he has the ability to absorb information, to implement them in fights. So he's doing what works for him. That's not my bag. I think you work with somebody that you have a relationship with, that you trust, that knows you inside out, knows your strengths, knows your weaknesses. Chris is his own man, and it's never been a secret. And so therefore, he's moved on to Bomac to say, I think you can help me in this fight. The chance I give Chris, now people are no longer talking about the weight being an issue. They're talking about, well, what can he do different? So the only thing he can do different is be Chris. Throwing a mad amount of punches like he normally does, because the boy's unbelievably fit. The mistake he made, and I don't know if it being any different this fight, was he tried to outbox somebody that was steeped in experience, steeped in much more experience than Eubank had. So he tried to beat him his own game. He needs to try and get Liam Smith to try and walk into his game. That's the chance I give Chris, if there is a chance. That's the only chance. And I think maybe the reason why he split from Roy is because he was sort of stuck in between. You know, he's trying to box, he's trying to fight, shall I do this, shall I do that? You can't do that against somebody that's technically as astute as Liam Smith.
Next week we see Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte go at it again for the second time in their professional careers. What are your thoughts at the moment, Johnny, from what you see online and social media? I know there's not been a lot from Dillian Whyte, even Anthony Joshua, but where's your mind going at the moment? Who do you think wins this?
Well, I think both fighters have stock damage in regards to look at their careers and where it is. Both fighters may bring the best out in each other because there's something about those two. And I saw the press conference and Anthony Joshua, how he spoke. He spoke with a man like a man that actually thought, you know what, I'm not got the pressure of all you man on my shoulders anymore because, you know, I know where I am now. And so hopefully, and this is with Anthony Joshua start, for Dylan Whyte thinks, you know what, I'm fighting like a hungry man. You know, you are the one that can I might have been knocked out, I might have lost fights before, but I know you are the one that will bring the best fight out of me. And I think these two will always bring the best out in each other. Anthony Joshua can't afford to box like he did last time, otherwise Dylan Whyte beats him. Vice versa, Dylan Whyte can't afford to be giving Anthony Joshua breathing space and find a head between the two, otherwise he gets beaten. On paper, you'd expect Anthony Joshua to pull it off, on paper. But if you look on past performances, this is a fight a lot closer than what people give it credit for.
With Derek James obviously coming off that loss with Errol Spence, as an ex-fighter, Johnny, can that have an effect? You know, Anthony Joshua's stablemate Errol Spence just lost his titles for the first time. The mood might not be great. Does that have a negative negative effect?
It can do, but it depends how strong your mind is. You know, if you're an individual, I know I gather AJ's a very deep thinker and he probably overthink a lot of things. So it could have a negative effect on him. But, you know, if what he does is separate from what Spence does, he's like, you know what, that's not really a lift, you know, that's how it is, but this is what I'm going to do. You know, that's your business. This is my business. So, and if he's comfortable with his training regime and his trainer, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter what's happened to anybody else in the camp. He's comfortable with who he's working with. Will he be working with him after this fight? We don't know. You know, he's comfortable doing what he's doing. He's away from the pressures of home. That's what he needs. He needs to be in that kind of mix where he can just be him. He can just get out there and get on with work and slowly but surely you listen to how he talks, and he talks like a guy that actually he talks like a guy that actually starts to live the game. I don't know if it's too little, too late, but he starts to actually live the game. For Dylan Whyte, Dylan Whyte's the kind of fighter that calls the shots, like Chris, and in the gym, and from my understanding, and so again. Both guys, you can understand what's going wrong and what's going right from the outside looking in, but this is only speculation. So again, both guys need to either learn from their mistakes, and hopefully they have done, or suffer the consequences. But this fight's an intriguing fight. I'll be watching this fight. I will be watching it. I like the story. I like the backstory. I like the excitement about it. I watched them round the table, and I thought, you know what, Anthony's a lot more vocal. Dylan, you have to be humble because he thought this man's turned me over before, you know. But this is business, and this fight's now on. And Dylan chased this fight. Remember, he was the one that publicly went into TalkSport and said, "Yo, I'm here. Don't be telling me you've offered me something that you haven't."
I read an article from Ricky Hatton. He did an interview in the paper where he said that the loser will have to have and I'm paraphrasing it, but will have to have a great look at potentially hanging up the gloves.
I agree, because both fighters are losers in regards to where the career is. So if a loser loses to a loser, then you're just a gatekeeper. These guys have been too high in their career to hang about and be gatekeepers. Derek Chisora doesn't mind doing that. You know, he's a mercenary. He's out there. He's a fighter. He wants to earn money. He's never been at their levels. He's fought their levels, but he's not been successful at their levels. So for these two, I think it'd be very hard for them to compete with heart and soul at a level anything less than this.
Can you pick a winner right now, or are you sitting on the fence?
I'm sitting on the fence.
Okay.
Did you just give me the bird?
We saw earlier, end of last week, some announcement made about Conor Benn. He put a statement out that saying that he was no longer suspended under UKAD. Obviously, still needs to go and apply for a license. a lot has happened since. Obviously, you could have the ability to appeal. You have 21 days. A lot of people are saying they will appeal. It doesn't seem like it's going away just yet, Johnny. Is that the vibe you get as well?
Yeah, I don't listen. I don't understand. So if he failed a drug test and this is going away, I don't know what reason why all of a sudden, like we dropped the case or whatever. He's free to fight. So why? Now, if they were wrong in their publicising the publication of their findings, then CONOR BENN needs to sue them for loss of earnings and defamation of character. So, on what grounds has it been turned over? If that is the case, I don't understand enough to actually think, well, why have they dropped it? Now, so CONOR BENN's either got to sue him for defamation of character and loss of earnings, or they've got to stand up and actually say, whoa, on a minute. And I want to hear what the British Boxing Board of Control have got to say about this. Are they with that? They're saying, here's your license. There you go. Off you go. So we've got to find out on what grounds it's been overturned. And that's the question. So when I heard it, first thing I thought was, well, what was he guilty for then? Conor's got to sue him. Defamation of character, loss of earnings. So if someone's backing down or trying to, I don't know how this has worked. So I don't really understand how they've come to that decision, or for what reason they've come to that decision. I don't know if it's public knowledge. What I do understand is someone's character has been tarnished if a crime hasn't been committed. And if that is the case, and he's lost earnings, if that is the case, then he needs to publicly say, this is what you did. If you've done it to me, you'll do it to somebody else. So therefore, I'm suing you, and I want all the money I've lost and defamation of character earnings. I want all of it back, because this is because of you. My career, you've almost ruined my career, if not ruined my career. Or they've got to stand up and say, whoa, hold on a minute. No, we ain't saying that. So this is cat and mouse at the moment. So if Conor can fight again and they got it wrong, good. They got it wrong, and he needs to make them pay. And if they haven't got it wrong, and they need to explain why all of a sudden they said what they said, and all of a sudden they've backed down on it.
But I'm sure we'll be speaking much more about this over the coming weeks as more news becomes available. Johnny, appreciate your time. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Bless, anytime. Please make sure you put a good picture on, not one of them like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Joy Nelson, thank you for speaking to Boxing Media.